Larry Nickel, born March 12, 1952, is a Canadian composer, conductor, music publisher and singer who devotes much of his focus to choral music. He is an associate composer of the Canadian Music Centre. 1. He has composed for a wide spectrum of genres: electronic and computer music, string quartet, woodwind and brass quintet, symphony orchestra, symphonic wind ensemble and choral ensembles, including both secular and ecclesiastical music. Primarily, he has written and arranged hundreds of compositions for choirs. Nickel also works as a choral clinician, occasional university professor, music minister, guest conductor and music festival adjudicator. Nickel sang professionally with the Vancouver Chamber Choir for 6 years, directed the award-winning Jubilati Vocal Ensemble for 5 years, and also sang second bass with the acclaimed Vancouver Cantata Singers for many years. In 2010, Nickel became the owner of Cypress Choral Music Publishing. 2. Nickel's music has been published by 12 companies including Oxford University Press, G. Schirmer, Shawnee Press, Pavon Publishing, Morton Music, Cypress Choral Music, Classica and Canadian International Music. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC Radio, has featured his music many times. The Sounds of Majesty radio broadcast out of Chicago, syndicated to a myriad of stations around North America, has featured Larry Nickel's music hundreds of times. Biography: Born to parents who became missionaries when he was 11 years old, Nickel studied music in Kodaikanal, India under the International Baccalaureate program. 3. He was given a chance to direct his high school chamber choir when he was 17. Upon returning to Canada, he formed a coffeehouse band with friends called The Sound of Light, which performed regularly in the Vancouver area for 4 years, made 2 LP recordings, and worked in recording studios as back-up singers for Dolores Clayman. Hockey Night in Canada composer. He studied at Columbia Bible College, the University of British Columbia, and the University of Lethbridge. His Master of Music degree was completed at the University of Western Washington University in 1983. Nickel worked as a high school performing arts teacher for 25 years at the Mennonite Educational Institute. 3. During that time he directed over 50 stage productions including several Gilbert and Sullivan operettas. In 1993 he won the International Association for Jazz Education Award for Outstanding Service to Jazz Education. His senior choir was selected 2 years in a row, 2001 and 2002, by Varsity Vocals International Search for the Best of High School Choirs. In 1989, Nickel almost died of viral encephalitis. 3. Following a long convalescence, he says, "During that time of healing I committed myself to writing music that speaks to the deep questions of our existence." Christian convictions permeate much of his writing. Nickel and director Tony Funk founded the West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir in 1990. Over the following 15 years the choir recorded 13 CDs, including over 100 of Nickel's compositions, with proceeds from CD sales donated to Comunidad Supportive Care Services, a charitable organization that works with mentally challenged people. In 2003, Nickel began a doctorate, DMA in composition, which he obtained in 2007. He studied with Stephen Chapman, Dorothy Chang and Keith Hamill. His thesis involved writing a requiem in 13 languages. Requiem for Peace was premiered at the Chan Center for the Performing Arts in December 2005 under the direction Bruce Pullen. 3, 4, 5. In 2010 Bruce Pullen presented Requiem for Peace at the Orpheum Theatre with the VSO and the Vancouver Bach Choir. 6. In 2011 Nickel reset Requiem for Peace for chamber-size forces and this version was premiered by the Vancouver Chamber Choir that November. Since then, Requiem for Peace has had many performances: Orebro, Vasteras, Corfu, Toronto, Halifax, Guelph, Magdeburg, Speenshert, Regensburg, Nordlingen, Bayreuth, Chicago, Goshen, Ottawa, with the National Arts Center Orchestra, in New York at Carnegie Hall and at the Ukraine Philharmonic in Kyiv in 2020. Nickel has received well over 100 commissions from groups such as the Vancouver Cantata Singers, Pro Coro Canada, Vancouver Chamber Choir, Vancouver Bach Choir, Electra, Corleone, Welsh Men's Choir, Salt Lake Vocal Artists, the Orebro Chamber Choir, Winnipeg Children's Choir, Pacific Mennonite Children's Choir, Podium Honor Choir, Halifax Camerata, Erido Ensemble, Canadian Tenors, Linden Singers, Faith and Life Men's Chorus, etc. His work has also been performed by Pinchas Zuckerman, Ben Heppner, the Naco Woodwind Quintet, the Pacific Symphonic Wind Ensemble and the National Youth Orchestra of Canada. Larry and his wife, Edna, live in Vancouver, close to their 3 children and 7 grandchildren. 3. Discography. Songs My Father Taught Me 1991. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. Carols for the Infant King 1992. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir featuring Edith Weens. Through an Open Window 1993. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. A Mennonite Tapestry 1994. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. Songs of Earth. Echoes of Heaven 1996. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir featuring Ben Heppner. Come Heart's Delight 1997. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. Canadian Safari 1997. Corleone. Meditation 1998. Calvin Dyke. Violinist. When I Was a Child 1998. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. Remember Thy Creator 1998. Mennonite Educational Institute Choirs. Rare Benediction 1999. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. As Evening Shadows Fall 2000. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. My Heart My Home 2001. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. The Time of Eternity 2002. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. Pavon for a True Musical Prince 2002. Mennonite Educational Institute Choirs. Faith and Life Choral Festival 2002. Variety of Choirs. And Night Shall End 2003. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. By Light Indwell 2004. The West Coast Mennonite Chamber Choir. One Small Child 2004. Calvin Dyke. Violinist. Canadian Safari 2 2005. Corleone. Requiem for Peace 2006. UBC Chorus and Symphony. Circle of Compassion 2007. Corleone. Sacred Reflections of Canada 2017. Canadian Chamber Choir.